All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Brandywine School District Board of Education regular meeting. Tonight is Monday, June 17th, 2024. We are live in the Brandywine High School auditorium, also broadcasting via Zoom. Ms. Harris, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Scrobot,
Here.
Miss Pigeon, Mr. Ackerman,
Present.
Mr. Heller.
Here.
Recording in progress. Oops. Oh. Mr. Reverend Perry. Miss Scott. Here. Dr. Jagaday. Here.
Yeah. All board members could check their computer sound for muting. We're getting some feedback from the
If you're watching the Zoom.
okay. Testing.
What are we doing?
We're getting some feedback from somebody's computer audio recirculating through the microphone. I think we sound okay for right now. Well, I'm sorry, Ms. Harris, we finished roll call? We're good? All right, Mr. Ackerman, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we move on to the next item, I just wanted to make a brief announcement. School board had a public meeting on June 11th, and we are thrilled to announce the finalization of the contract for our new superintendent, Dr. Lisa Lawson, effective July 1st. A dedicated and longtime employee of our district, Lisa brings a wealth of experience and a deep passion for serving all children. With a robust background in education, as well as being a subject matter expert in special education and highly regarded throughout the state of Delaware by her peers and our district families, Lisa has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to inclusivity and excellence in education. Stepping into this role, Lisa has big shoes to fill, but we are confident that she is certainly up to the task. Her vast knowledge of district operations will allow her to hit the ground running, supported by an excellent administrative team around her. We look forward to the positive impact her leadership will have on our students, our staff, and the entire community. Please join us in welcoming Lisa to her new role. We look forward to her continued contributions and the positive impact she will have on the Brandywine School District and our school community. So with that, before we approve the agenda, I'd like to remove item 9B. Superintendent's contract was listed for information purposes. I think I just shared that information. Not much more to discuss there. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Can we also remove 5D?
5D. Is that a motion to?
And while
Yeah,
we're
motion.
removing, can we remove 5B?
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to remove 9B, 5B, and 5D and approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Mr. Ackerman, Reverend Dickerson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. That will lead us into the start of our special presentations. Dr. O'Hanlon.
Thank you for keeping 2A. Appreciate that. Good evening, members of the Public Board of Education. It is with immense pride that we celebrate the outstanding achievements of our WMPH high school journalism students from Mount Pleasant High School. These young journalists have demonstrated exceptional skill and dedication in earning well-deserved accolades at the Delaware Press Association's High School Communicators Award on May 1st. I'd like to extend a heartfelt congratulations to each student involved. Their hard work, their commitment to journalistic excellence have not only brought honor to themselves, but have also greatly contributed to the prestige of our entire school district. They have shown that passion and perseverance and remarkable things can happen, can be achieved. This year, our students excelled in various categories, showcasing their abilities in writing, editing, and media production, and their work displays maturity and depth and highlights the important issues in presenting stories that matter to our community. It is this kind of thoughtful and impactful journalism that changes the world one story at a time. Students, I'm going to call those that are here this evening. First, Mr. Paul Wishengrad, who is the manager and the teacher at WMPH. Vanna Sarwis won first and second place in the state in the radio podcast prepared report category. In addition to winning third place in the state in the radio, TV, or talk show category, Vanna has also won first place in the National Federation of Press Women's National Contest. Neasia Bailey won third place in the state in the radio podcast prepared report category. She's not here this evening. And Jane Ford won first place in the state in the radio and TV talk show category and third place in the national contest, which was sponsored by a parent group of the National Federation of Press Women. So I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Wishengrad here for his service and for his work with WMPH. Mr. Wishengrad's guidance and support have been pivotal to the station's operations and to the growth of WMPH, and also nurturing these young talents here this evening. So thank you for your commitment to fostering a learning environment where students can thrive and explore their passions. So in closing, to the winners, remember that your ability to communicate and inform is an extremely powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool, and we are incredibly proud of you and can't wait to see you guys where you head to next. Thank you.
Congratulations to our winners. I know the WMPH is personal passion of mine. Is the radio station was started back when my father was a student there at Mount Pleasant High School, and to see how the program has evolved over the years as radio itself has changed. We're the only one of two, but I don't think the other school that has a radio station actively manages it the way we do. So we are unique in that sense, but the way Mr. Wishengrad has evolved the program to be more than just radio and broadcasting songs, really developing the skills and talents of our students to, get more in touch with their investigative journalism, addressing topics that are important to the individual students and the students in their school community. So to see their net recognition on the national stage is outstanding. So thank you for the work that you did to earn these honors. And thank you, Mr. Wishengrad, for the guidance you give these students and everyone listening. Tune into 91.7 WMPH every now and again. Thanks. Mr. Rivera.
Good evening, members of the board. More great news coming from Mount Pleasant High School. I know Cherry's here, and I see the Mount administrative team. You can come on up. The Brandywine School District is thrilled to announce that Mount Pleasant High School has been named an AVID National Demonstration School. This elite designation has been awarded to only 214 of 8,000 AVID schools worldwide. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination and is a national program providing students with academic skills, content knowledge, and the social adaptability to be successful after graduation. AVID National Demonstration Schools exemplify models of the AVID College Readiness System. Demonstration schools undergo a rigorous validation process and are required to be revalidated every few years to ensure high levels of implementation with quality and fidelity to AVID strategies school-wide. As a national demonstration site, Mount Pleasant High School will host administrators and teachers from other school districts around the country, serving as a center of teaching and learning to model systems. Mount Pleasant High School first implemented AVID back in 2005 And now all middle and high schools across BSD use the College and Career Readiness System. This recognition would not have been possible without the dedicated staff, AVID coordinator, and administrative leadership, all led by Principal Lacey. Thank you for your tireless efforts to build a strong instructional system that has now been recognized at the highest level. I have a certificate from AVID recognizing Mount Pleasant High School as the National Demonstration School. And there's an even better banner that was given to them that's already hanging on the front of the buildings. As you drive by, you can see that. Congratulations.
Fantastic effort. Thank you, Mount Pleasant staff and school community for all the work that you've done to, recognitions are always good to, validate some of the work we're doing, but specifically on, the first of a new award. So congratulations.
For about, if I remember correct, IB, Mount Pleasant High School was the first high school in the state to be IB certified, and now to be the first AVID national certified school.
All right, Dr. Kutch.
Good evening, board members. It has been such a joy this year to have grown our VEX after-school programming. All of our 9 elementary schools had teams this year, and that's the first time since COVID. So we brought it back. We built it up. So we're celebrating that tonight as well. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank the following teachers who were able to find time after school on weekends, in the afternoons, evenings, to work with our young Roboteers, teaching them teamwork, perseverance, and STEM skills. Maple Lane, Crystal Wicker, Carcroft, Sandra Poplos, Hamby, Denise Burkhart, Lombardi, Deborah Miller, Mount Pleasant Elementary, Matthew Janicki, Harlan, Michael Phobes, Claymont, Teresa Cooper, Lancashire, Ashley Sforza, Forwood, Samantha Parker, and we started an evening program for those kids who couldn't make it after school, run by Foster Shucker. So thank you for those teachers. Across the schools, we held a 26-week season with 55 teams participating, and that's 8 more teams than last year. We added an additional evening session at Forwood for students who could not stay right after school. We held 9 events and 295 matches. Each of the 55 teams played on average in 4 events held mostly on Friday nights. That's right, folks. They gave up their Friday nights to participate in this, with each school hosting. I do want to give a big shout out to Foster Shucker for all his help and support, helping us to continuously grow and push us and helping us run the competitions and the staff training. And Foster, just if you could stand up so we can say thank you so much. So all of this accumulated into our big 2024 extravaganza held at Tally Middle School on March 16th, 2024. And just some quick stats, we had 59 teams participate. We had 220 Roboteers. We played 225 matches. And we also had one 12-foot inflatable Robosaurus named Boris, if you were wondering what the big orange dinosaur was, for those of you that were there. I also want to thank all the help with the extravaganza to Foster Shucker, Steve Rhodes, our announcers, for making the event a success. I'd also like to thank Jeff Lawson for being a gracious host, and Stacy Karpinski from Forwood in helping with details and all the field setups. We had 9 working fields. That's a lot, folks. That's a lot. So and it takes a lot to set those up and break them down. So we truly appreciate all the hard work. We really are only able to run this program because of all the dedicated staff and parents that helped us out. So those of you that are here in the audience tonight, thank you so much for all of that. And so now what I'd like to do is recognize some of our teams that won in our big events during the extravaganza. These would be considered our tournament champions. And what we're going to do is I will call out the award and the name of the team. When you hear your team name, come on up to be recognized. And then directly after the presentation, we'll take some photos in the lobby. Okay. All right, here we go. Our first award was the Robot Merit Award. And this was awarded to the Hamby Green Ninjas with Denise Burkhart, the coach. And this was Aiden, Vikram, and Yassine, and the Karkoff Geralds. If you're here, come on up. Well done, well done. The Coolest Robot Award is awarded to the Destroyers, Foster Shucker, coach, to Terry and Alexander. Come on up. And finally, our most prestigious award, the Teamwork Challenge Award, first place goes to Michael Phobes, coach, to the Harlan Dragons and the Harlan Falcons, to Alexander, Carson, Matthias, Wyatt, and Kevon. Come on up if you're here. Well done, well done. I'm going to give a big congratulations to our young roboteers. I hope that you continue in your journeys in VEX robotics and in STEM and in all things STEM related in school. So congrats again. And again, if you do want to get photos, we'll have a photographer available in the lobby in a little bit. Thank you.
I know I say this every time that we have a VEX robotics presentation, but every time it seems that the program has grown bigger and bigger from the last time. So, as we talk about always looking for new ways to engage students in curriculum and activities, I had the opportunity to attend this event, and I think that's what's so great about the VEX program, that it is hands-on and it teaches so much more than the building of the robots. You're involving math, you're involving communication skills with your fellow teammates, you're strategizing during the course of your events, and you're really learning so much more than you think you are at the time. So I hope when you look back on your experience with VEX this year, you'll look back with pride at your accomplishments and all that you've learned from it, and continue to stick with it and encourage your friends and classmates to join you next year. So congratulations. Dr. Kutch, you're staying with us for another one?
I am.
All right.
I couldn't be more thrilled to yet again make another presentation related to our Samsung national winners from Brandywine High School. We would like to bring the team up one more time, because I believe that we did recognize them in other ways, but not as the national winners, right? And so I feel that it deserves itself a spot here where we do have an opportunity to hear from the team on all their accolades and things that they were involved in after the presentation in Washington, D.C. They've had quite a little journey. Now, I know Malty's probably standing there a little bit more comfortable. Come on up, Malty, because Malty is the team tonight. As I'm sure you can recognize, things happen after graduation. All the girls graduated, and sometimes things come up in schedules and such, and all best laid plans that they would be available tonight. I'm so thankful that Malty's available tonight. And Mr. Merklin, come on up. Mr. Merklin is the team's coach. I'd like for him to come up and be a part of this as well. And I'm going to actually turn this over to Malty because I think it would be much more interesting to hear from her than me on what they were able to do after that experiences of being awarded the national champions.
Hello. So, hi. Yeah. So it was pretty exciting when we won on April 30th was when it was announced that we won. And ever since then, it's been pretty much a nonstop whirlwind of activities that have all been organized by Dr. Kutch. So thank you so much for everything. Yeah. Yeah. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So this is a little, could you just click next? Okay, thanks. So this is a little preview of what the competition looked like at Samsung. So it was in DC, and you can see we met with Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester. We won the Rising Entrepreneurship Award and the National Winners Award. So that's a total of $125,000 of, yeah, yeah. See for anyone who has to. We also got to travel all over Washington, D.C. with Samsung. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So we were able to see the Washington Monument. We saw the Lincoln Memorial. We saw the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. We got a tour of the Capitol, which was really cool. And I put a photo of the roof of the Capitol because I think it's a very cool painting of actually, we don't learn about this. It's Washington rising up to the sky and becoming a god, which I thought was very interesting as a painting in the Capitol. We also got a tour of the executive offices of Science and Technology Policy, which was beautiful. And it was a very, very cool experience. So then after that, we came back to Delaware. So if that could be the next slide, please. So here we are returning to Wilmington. That's us getting out of the train. And there was just a huge amount of people just standing there waiting for us. And it was really exciting seeing everyone and everything Brandywine organized, Dr. Kutch organized. It was very exciting. It made us feel like heroes welcome. It was very nice. So we could go to the next slide, please. So because we won, there was a lot of media, there was a lot of press coverage. So we were covered in Delaware Online, WDEL, WHYY, Delaware Online, Delaware Live. So there are a lot of articles. It was very fun to read. Overall, it was very, very cool just being interviewed. We were treated like celebrities. It was quite a fun experience. Next slide, please. So after that, on May 28th, we got to meet the Secretary of Education. So we met with Dr. Holodick and we gave a presentation of our project and we played the games with him. So he won the Chutes and Ladders, but we won the Connect Four. So we're tied for now. So that was the 28th. And then after that, if you go to the next slide, please, we went to Dover. And the first thing that we did was we went to this company called Moonprint Solutions. So if you could just click next, please. Yeah, so we were able to see this company and they specialize in what's called soft goods. So they, one of the things that they made was this inflatable raft that can hold, I think they said up to 250 people, but they're able to compress it all into the bag that you see lying there. And inside that bag, they connect those 2 cylinders of CO2. So the Coast Guard is supposed to just drop the thing and it deploys and the whole thing inflates with that CO2 cylinder into that huge raft. So it's very small and it's very cool. I could talk about them for a while. So it's very cool seeing everything that they work on. And it's very interesting seeing how engineering companies can work and do the same things that we do, but just on a much bigger scale. Next slide, please. So that same day, we got to go to Legislative Hall and get recognized by the House of Representatives and Senate in Dover. And we got to meet with Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long and Representative Deborah Heffernan. So that was very, very cool getting to see these people, our legislators, and getting to talk with them and getting recognized for the work that we did. Oh yeah, they did. They did. So when they were recognizing us in the House of Representatives, they kind of read out a whole proclamation about us, and then everyone votes on the resolution, and it passed, and then we went to the Senate, and then they talk about us, and then they vote on us again, and the resolution passed. So it's very interesting experience. Yeah. And that was and today's the last stage of all the activities we've had. So this brings a conclusion on everything in the Samsung experience.
Thank you so much for coming back and sharing your experience with us. I know once graduation hits, you're looking towards college, and it's easy to put us in your rearview mirror, but I've said it before, and I'm just so impressed with the maturity and poise that you and the team have shown throughout this process, and to come back winners is just beyond our wildest expectations. And, you know, I said it to last year's team, and I'll say it to you and this year's team, please stay in touch with Dr. Kutch and our district, and come back and share your experiences to the younger grades next year. In the future, you know, our door is always open whenever you want. We know great things are going to, you know, happen for you in your future. And these are, you know, just some of the memories that you'll have forever. So please come back and share them with us, and we wish you the best.
Oh, thank you so much.
Malty, one more question. Any work, further work on a patent around your invention?
Yeah, so we've been thinking about the patenting process, and first of all, it's a very long and costly process. And the other thing is, I don't know if it's entirely necessary, because we talked to patenting people at Agilent, which is another thing Dr. Kutch set up for us. And what they told us is when you publicly release something, no one except for you can hold a patent on it. So we've already publicly released it. So we are the only people who could hold a patent on this until, I guess, some portion of time expires. But the other point is, unless we are able to create a product out of this that can go to the market, if we hold a patent, we're essentially excluding other people from making this product and targeting this market that needs to be addressed. So if we're unable to actually make this a reality and go forward with it, I'd rather people take our IP and make a product and actually deliver this into the hands of young students.
It's phenomenal.
One last thing, you may have seen in one of Malty's pictures, they were holding up a trophy from, or plaque, I guess, from Samsung, but Samsung only gives one. So Malty, we'd like to give you, and we have one for each of the team members, but Malty, we'd like to give one to you. So you have to take with you. Let's take it. Look. You hold it. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, hold it. And that's for you and your team members, because you're all deserving of this recognition to take with you when you go to college. Thank you so much. Put it someplace nice. Okay. Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe we could get one more made for the trophy cabinet out front.
That's where the other one's gonna go.
Okay,
So
perfect.
that one will stay, and the girls have their own, and we'll be, everyone has.
One step ahead. Perfect.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, that will lead us to the superintendent's report.
President Skrobot, Vice President Heller, members of the board. So many great things have happened since our last month's board meeting. Tonight's superintendent report is only a small recap of the events, celebrations, awards, and so much more that has happened here within the walls of BSD. You've heard me say it before, but it bears repeating. The arts are alive and well in the Brandywine School District. This year, we've recognized an unparalleled number of students receiving all state and all conference vocal and performing arts recognition. Record-setting attendance at our Young Brandywine Artists exhibit, and named Best in Music Education for the 6th consecutive year. Tonight, the accolades continue. Congratulations to Forwood School Principal Diana Golden and our own Dr. Dominic Pisano, our Coordinator of Visual and Performing Arts, who both have received the 2023-24 DEMA, Delaware Music Educators Association, Outstanding Administrator Award. This award recognizes members of a school or district administrative team that consistently demonstrate outstanding support and advocacy for music education throughout their school community. Congratulations, Diana, and to Dom. We are proud to announce Miss Jeanette Madison, math teacher at Springer Middle School, as the 24-25 District Teacher of the Year. This prestigious award recognizes outstanding educators who have inspired a love of learning in their students and have made a significant contribution to their schools and community. Ms. Madison has been a teacher at Springer Middle School in the Brandywine School District since 2005 and has been instrumental in fostering an environment of academic excellence and innovation. A national board certified teacher since 2017, Ms. Madison has implemented a variety of dynamic teaching strategies that accommodate diverse learning styles and promote critical thinking. Throughout her career, Ms. Madison has not only demonstrated a profound dedication to her students' success, but has also encouraged them to pursue their passions and interests. Her commitment extends beyond the classroom through her involvement in Springer's MTSS, multi-tiered system of support team, and school advisory team, along with serving as the 8th grade co-team leader. Choosing just one teacher each year is incredibly challenging, given the many devoted educators that we have in the Brandywine School District. Jeanette Madison's ability to connect with students and inspire them to achieve their best truly embodies the spirit and values of the Brandywine School District. We are thrilled to honor her with this recognition. The high school spring sports season was filled with remarkable achievements, demonstrating the talent, dedication, and sportsmanship of our students and the exemplary leadership of our coaches. Each school showcased outstanding performances, culminating in several team and individual accolades that are highlighted on the screen. The success of this season reflects the dedication of our student athletes, the commitment of the coaches, and the unwavering support of the parents and our community. As we celebrate these achievements, we remain committed to further enhancing our athletic programs to provide the best opportunities for our students. I'm going to pause for about 15 seconds and just let you read through some of those amazing accomplishments. We're beyond proud to announce that several BSD talented students have committed to continuing their athletic careers at the collegiate level. Their hard work, dedication, and sportsmanship have truly paid off, and this is just the beginning of their exciting journeys. Again, I'll just pause for a minute so you can read through that list. Every year, the Brandywine School District partners with Special Olympics Delaware to host a district-wide unified bocce tournament. And this year's event, held last month, was bigger and better than ever. This year, all BSD schools, yep, that's right, every school and program competed in our spring unified bocce event. That included over 350 student athletes competing on 26 courts. Just like to congratulate all those student athletes, but also to thank all the coaches and volunteers that made that possible. What a hit. Last month, the amazing staff from across BSD's elementary, middle, and high school showed up in full force at the first annual BSD Staff Softball Challenge. The camaraderie on and off the field was truly heartwarming. Teams cheered each other on, proving it's all about community and connection. Thank you to everyone who participated and came out to support. It's events like these that bring us closer together as a collective team, strengthen our community, and create lasting memories. I'd be remiss if I didn't call out and thank the person responsible for this event, as well as numerous other staff and student events throughout our school year. That's Mr. Howard Laws. We often hear about the difference and impact that a single individual can have on others. Howard is the perfect example of using one's God-given talents and abilities in the service of others. BSD is fortunate to have Howard as a team member. May 21st was a full day of nostalgia and pride across BSD as our graduating seniors donned their caps and gowns and returned to where it all began, the halls of their elementary schools. As they walked through the halls once more, the air was filled with cheers and applause from the youngest students and teachers who lined up to celebrate their achievements. It was a powerful moment, not only for the graduates, but for the entire school community, reminding everyone of the journey that these students have taken and the bright futures that lie ahead. This cherished tradition not only celebrates the accomplishments of our graduates, but also inspires our younger students to dream big and aim high. We are incredibly proud of each graduate. And elementary parents, don't blink. Before you know it, your son or daughter will be sporting a cap and gown and returning to their elementary school to walk the halls. Congratulations to our amazing site interns who were recognized on May 30th at their end of the year celebration. As a reminder, SITE stands for Skills for Independence, Transition, and Employment, a BSD programming providing vocational training and opportunities for students 18 to 22 years old with special needs. Congratulations to our exiting interns. We wish them all the best as they transition out of the program and into employment and other opportunities. You've made us incredibly proud. Speaking of graduations, our high school graduation was held on Sunday, June 2nd. This was a significant and celebratory event for our district, marking the culmination of our students' hard work and dedication throughout their academic careers. This year, BSD celebrated the graduation of over 770 students across our 3 high schools. As we close the chapter on this year's graduation, I'd want to express my gratitude to the board, each school's administrative team, and all the staff members who played a role in nurturing these young individuals through graduation. Their hard work and our collective commitment to education have once again yielded a group of promising young adults ready to take on the world's challenges. We're thrilled to announce that this summer, our district will be launching a newly designed website along with a brand new mobile app. These updates are part of our ongoing commitment to enhance communication and engagement with our school community. Our redesigned website will offer a cleaner, more intuitive design, making it easier to find the information you need. The BSD mobile app will bring our district into the palm of your hand. And for those wondering, yes, the yellow box will still be on the new website. Stay tuned for more information. And finally, brings us to our June sizzle. Enjoy.
Today, June 2nd, 2024, we stand at the threshold of starting a new chapter in our lives. Class of 2024, we have made it.
We've worked really hard for this moment. Since day one, we were forced to adapt to a new normal, then another new normal, and then another. And we did. We caught up. We adapted. We made new friends. We grew. We worked. We passed. We learned. And now, we are here.
From a virtual freshman year to this graduation ceremony, we have grown and evolved in ways we never thought possible. Let us embrace change with open arms, knowing that we have the strength and resilience to overcome whatever challenge life may throw our way.
We are here in large part because of the tireless dedication of our families. And let's not forget our amazing teachers who have worked so hard to allow us to reach this point. Thank you for your flexibility, support, and your valuing of each of us and our unique needs. By believing in us, you have all inspired us in so many ways.
For a kid who didn't have a single friend in the entire country, when his parents made the sacrifice to move him here, 8,000 miles away from home in India, I found Concord to take me in like family.
Though we are all celebrating the end of the same chapter in our lives, we each offer our own qualities and gifts to the world. I am proud to graduate in this year's class from Mount Pleasant High School.
The class of 2024 is resilient, driven, adaptable, determined, fearful, and not afraid to fight back. We have accomplished so much within just 4 years, and I do not doubt we will accomplish more for years to come.
Graduates, please stand. On behalf of the entire community, I congratulate the class of 2024.
Now that you have received your diploma, you may move your tassel from right to left, symbolizing that you are now a graduate.
And now, for the last time, I bid to you, class dismiss.
Again, amazing work by our very own Mick Austin. Your ability to capture those moments is like none other. And just one more reason why I'm proud to be BSD. Mr. Scrobine, that's my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Holler. And I know you didn't mention it, but this is your final superintendent's report. I have some comments prepared. I didn't know if anybody else on the board had anything they wanted to say before I do. So with that, it's, an honor and a privilege to acknowledge and celebrate the remarkable career of our esteemed superintendent, Lincoln Holler, who's retiring after an extraordinary 36 years of dedicated service to education, 32 here in the Brandywine School District and another 4 in Michigan, was it? Mm-hmm. From the very beginning of his career as a passionate and inspiring teacher to the culmination of his journey as our superintendent, Link has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the education and well-being of our students. He's not only led with vision and integrity, but also with a tireless dedication that has positively impacted every corner of our community. Throughout these 30 years, Link has faced numerous challenges and has always prioritized the best interests of our students. He's been a steadfast leader, especially during the unprecedented times of the pandemic. With resilience and grace, he navigated our district through uncharted waters. One of the hallmarks of Link's tenure has been his ability to make tough decisions with the utmost consideration and care. He's never shied away from difficult choices, always aiming to improve our district and making it a true centerpiece of our community. Whether it was implementing new programs, improving facilities, or fostering an inclusive and supportive environment, Link's desire to enhance our district has been evident in every action taken. As president of the board, I'd like to add a personal note of appreciation. Working closely with you, Link, has been an invaluable experience. You've consistently shared your vast knowledge and experience with not only me, but the board, enriching our discussions and decisions with your insights. The collaboration between you, myself, and this board has been marked by mutual respect and a shared commitment to the success and students of our district. As we reflect on your illustrious career, we're reminded of the countless lives you've touched, the minds you've shaped, and the legacy you leave behind. It's a legacy of dedication, compassion, and a relentless pursuit of excellence that will continue to inspire us all. Link, on behalf of the board, the entire district, and the community, we extend our deepest gratitude for your 32 years of service to the Brandywine School District. Your impact is immeasurable, and your contributions will be remembered long after today. We wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement and look forward to seeing the continued positive influence you will undoubtedly bring to whatever new endeavors you choose. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scribott. It's not a single person, and that sounds a little cliche, but you heard it in the room just prior to this meeting. It takes dedicated and talented individuals who care about kids and their community. And we saw that evidenced in the ceremony just before this meeting, where we had members of the transportation department, technology team, paraprofessionals, teachers, administrators, support staff, all playing an integral part. And I'm just thrilled for the opportunity to have worked in the Brandywine School District. And I'm thrilled about the path forward. We have a competent leader. We have an outstanding leadership team. We have outstanding building administrators, teachers, and the best days are yet to come. Again, thank you. And I'm still proud, always be proud to be BSD.
And I think we have one little more recognition we'd like to share with you.
We have a tribute from the General Assembly of the State of Delaware. Be it hereby known to all that the General Assembly recognizes Lincoln Holler for 31, now 32 years of service to the Brandywine School District. We acknowledge this outstanding individual for his many years of dedication and service to the Brandywine School District. Mr. Holler's commitment to the district and its future has been evident in his strategic planning and forward-thinking initiatives, which has positioned the Brandywine School District for continued success. Under his leadership, the Brandywine School District pioneered Race to the Top programs, expanded technology initiatives, created the Brink Consortium focused on blended learning, produced national winning STEM teams, provided one-to-one device access for all students, enhanced safety and security infrastructure, and successfully passed a state record-breaking 2024 operational referendum. We commend Mr. Holler's exceptional devotion to the Brandywine School District, students, staff, families, and community. The Senate and House of Representatives extends a sincere appreciation and directs this tribute to be issued the 17th day of June 2024, signed by many state senators and representatives. Congratulations. You have 3 copies, just so you know. Give it to me.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. All right. With that, next up will be our public comment segment. We ask that our speakers and audience members be courteous and respectful to each other. This is your time to be heard regarding topics related to the Brandywine School District. Each speaker will have 2 minutes, at which time the microphone will cut off. We'll thank you for your time. We do this to make every effort to be fair to everyone. We do not have any comments here in the room, but I believe we still have 2 online. Our first speaker will be Kay Ireland. Time will start when you begin to speak.
Hello, my name is Kay Ireland. I represent CIEE, Global Nonprofit Organization. Over the years in the state of Delaware, CIEE has awarded $28,000 towards tuition for programs that happen abroad, 3 full-on programs, 3 to 4 weeks long programs, educationally aligned across subject areas, languages, in 35 global destinations. For comparison, in the state of Pennsylvania alone this year, students from different schools received close to $500,000 just this year alone. So we had inquiries from students from BHS, very few participants. With the board support, I would like to spread awareness about these equitable global education programs. among teachers, counselors, administrators in the school districts, so high school students can be more competitive and college and career ready. All these programs have unique value in terms of academic and life readiness skills. So you'll have my contact information. Again, I represent CIE, and I would love to connect ahead of the next year's scholarship cycle. And hopefully in a year from now, we have more success stories to share as we did today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Ireland. Next up, we have Jenny Howard. Time will begin when you start to speak.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me tonight. My name is Jenny Howard. I am with a local nonprofit called Educate Delaware. Our mission and vision, we're basically trying to connect families and schools and make sure that families are informed. And I'm here tonight to just first congratulate you guys on, kudos to you for your transportation presentation that you did earlier this year. I watched it and I was really impressed from everything from moving bus stops from dangerous areas of the city to making sure you guys have door side bus stops. You know, kids are running across highways, that kind of thing. And I'm just here really to advocate for districts across the state to just review their walking routes, because I know that sometimes they're not reviewed on a regular basis, or maybe they are in Brandywine, but they're not elsewhere. And some of these routes are really dangerous, and we're just looking to provide transportation for kids who do live within a mile of the school, but would have to walk along a highway or a dangerous road across a busy intersection. And the reason I'm here tonight is actually because we did lose a student in the Red Clay School District, James Messick, just a month ago. And he was actually a Brandywine student prior to coming to Red Clay. So he was at Lombardi just a few years ago. So he was walking home from school in a dangerous intersection. And so I'm just trying to bring more awareness to that. And kudos to you guys for making all the safety improvements that you have. So thank you again for having me tonight, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. We appreciate your comments. And does that conclude our online speakers? Thank you very much. Moving on to board business and member liaison reports. We removed item B. Mr. Ackerman, do you have anything for DSBA Executive Board?
The executive board met on June 5th. We did have a quorum. We had a treasurer's report. The organization is in good financial health. I was able to give a report back to the group in regards to the school discipline task force that the legislature is put together. I am representing the School Board Association on that task force. Dr. Lawson is representing Delaware Association of School Administrators. Okay. In addition to that, I was reelected as president of DSBA for another year. It was a good meeting, a lot of good discussion. I did ask to get folks to provide feedback to the task force. Since the task force had asked for feedback, we sent our executive director did send the forms out to everyone who was in attendance at the meetings, and we're hoping that they will send it back so that we can get it back to Tina Shockley at DOE.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ackerman, and congratulations. Item B was removed. Item C, District Finance Committee. Finance Committee met on Monday, June 10th, where we discussed the May 2024 monthly financial report, as well as the tax warrant for fiscal year 2025, which Ms. Flore will present shortly. And I think we changed the date of that next meeting. The 10th. Next meeting will be July 10th. Which actually is our regularly scheduled second Wednesday of the month. Mr. Heller, Maintenance Advisory Committee.
We haven't met since the last meeting. However, the committee is meeting this Thursday, 5 p.m. at Concord High School, primarily to start rediscussing capital projects and what would be submitted to the state this year for capital project needs. And then somewhat related, there is, I guess, for lack of a better term, a subcommittee forming that's going to be focused on district athletic facilities and how we advance our athletic facilities to stay competitive with other offerings.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Heller. Ms. Stock, Parents and Citizens Advisory Committee?
The Parent Citizen Advisory Committee has not met since our last meeting. We will convene again in the fall.
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
We will convene again in the fall.
Fall, thank you.
Mhm.
Ms. Pigeon has left. We could have removed that one and didn't. Reverend Dickerson, Wilmington Learning Collaborative update.
Yes, the Wilmington Learning Collaborative has been solidifying partnerships for our to provide supplemental resources for our summer programming and to expand upon our community engagement. We also completed our spring listening in the lounge series, where we gathered critical feedback from school staff around school autonomy, curriculum, and professional learning needs. We will also host our first ELT networking event on July 31st at the Hyatt Place in Wilmington. The day is intended to be a day of collaboration, capacity building, and vision planning for the upcoming year. We've also received over 60 applications for the Teacher Leadership Design Fellowship. Candidates will be informed of their acceptance on today. Our next meeting will be held tomorrow, Tuesday, June the 18th at 6 p.m. at the Bayard School in Wilmington.
The Bayard School, you said Bayard?
Yes, the Bayard School.
Thank you, Reverend Dickerson. 91.7 WMPH has not met as a committee. We heard some accolades from the program earlier this evening, so everyone tune in for some great student programming, in addition to a wide variety of music. Additional board member reports.
I had mentioned last month that there was some concerns with coincidentally, we just had a public speaker on this, but concerns with the walking routes, specifically around Springer Middle School. So there was a pretty large group that met on May 30th, including Dr. Siemens from Springer, Mr. Rivera, Mr. Reed, Ms. Dowse, who's the president of the McDaniel Civic Association, Councilperson Durham, and then representatives from DOT and Newcastle County Parks to kind of start the process to explore if the walking routes, specifically through McDaniel and into Fairfax, can be modified to make it safer for students. So it sounds like there's a significant amount of work and even planning before any proposals could come out of that group, but there is still work moving on that.
Great. If I could just ask you to also share that at the next Maintenance Advisory Committee as an update for the group as well. Thank you. Any additional board member reports? I will just add, I know we talked in the superintendent's report, there were a lot of athletic updates. Just a shout out to recent graduate Rachel Baccarat, who is swimming this week, 100 freestyle. I believe it is on NBC Sports, I guess, depending on your service, what channel, Wednesday, somewhere between the 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock hour. So best wishes to Rachel as she tries to reach a longtime goal of making the Olympic team. Best of wishes to her and her family. Moving on, entertain a motion to approve this evening's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ackerman, Ms. Stock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Personnel matters. Do I have a motion to approve the monthly personnel report with the exception of employee 24-017 as discussed in executive session?
I believe the number is 117.
24-017?
No, 24-117.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Do I have a motion with the exception 24117?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ackerman, Reverend Dickerson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to accept student matters as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Have a motion, Mr. Heller, second, was that Reverend Dickerson?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
I abstain.
Yep. Just 1 second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Ms. Harris, can I have a roll call, please? Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Abstain.
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 Is Miss Pigeon is not here now. Okay. Guess we'll bring that back next month's report.
Mr. President, could we break those? This was student matters. Could we break those up into A and B? I make a motion to approve matter 8A, choice invitations.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
How would it change? It would be the same. Yeah.
The abstentions are because they weren't here for the discussion.
Can you repeat what you're motioning?
I withdraw.
Okay.
Motion's been withdrawn. Moving on to old business. Mr. Holer, board meeting dates and times for the 24-25 school year.
Just looking for approval from the list provided in the agenda this evening. It's the traditional dates with a few adjustments based on items that are required by certain dates and legislation caused us to adjust a few, as well as some public federal holidays, but as posted in the agenda this evening.
Do I have a motion to accept the board meeting dates and times as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ackerman, Reverend Dickerson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. We've removed 9B. Moving on to new business. Ms. McIntyre. Contract presentation.
Good evening, President Scrobot and members of the board. This evening, I am before you to present the contract between the Brandywine School District Board of Education and the Delaware Public Employee Council 81 and its affiliated Local 2180 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO, County of Newcastle, and the State of Delaware. The contract between the Brandywine School District and Local 2180 is set to expire on June the 30th of this year, 2024. The parties came to a tentative agreement on all language and salary provisions of the contract earlier in June of 2024. The items of tentative agreement between the parties are now before the board for approval, and I would like to express sincere appreciation and gratitude to the members of both negotiation teams that resulted in the tentative agreements before the board this evening. The teams consisted of, for Local 2180, Mr. Christopher Ware, the staff representative from Delaware Public Employees Council 81, asked me. He was the lead negotiator. And then on his team was Mr. Ted Markowski, the president of Local 2180, Rezwan Chowdhury, Joseph Wiley, Brian Witkowski, and Mr. Dan Tobin. The BSD team members were comprised of myself, Delethea McIntyre, Director of Human Resources as lead negotiator, Ms. Leslie Armour, Supervisor of Human Resources, Ms. Jill Flore, CFO, Julie Johannet, Facilities Specialist, Mr. Omar Reed, Facilities Specialist, and Mr. John Reed, Director of Facilities. The rationale for the recommendation is that the language and salary benefit items will become part of the negotiated agreement and will provide a basis for understanding of the salary benefits and working conditions that will exist between the parties for the duration of this agreement. And if approved, these working conditions and local salary provisions between the parties will exist for the next 3 years through June 30th of 2027. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the new provisions of the agreement between the Brandywine School District Board of Education and the Delaware Public Employee Council 81 and its affiliated local 2180 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO, County of Newcastle, and State of Delaware.
Move to accept to approve the contract.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? I just want to kind of second your compliments to everyone involved. Negotiations are always a very heavy task for all parties involved, and the fact that we're able to come together collaboratively and reach an agreement, I think, speaks volumes to the leadership on both sides. So thank you, everyone involved, for your time to get to this point. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Ms. Harris, can I have a roll call, please? Yes.
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 Abstain.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. McKinney, next up on the BSD Alt program.
President Scrobot, Superintendent Holder, members of the board. I'm here tonight to request your approval of the successful vendor for our in-district alternative education program. Every 3 years, we must submit a request for proposal, RFP, for any service we intend to receive through contracted means. As you may recall, we specifically included the cost of this program in our recent referendum ask to our Brandywine community. We submitted an RFP to communicate the district's need for an in-district alternative education program partner. We were seeking vendors to provide a comprehensive program that would serve it as an individualized educational, emotional, and social service opportunity for students requiring a higher level of service and support in a smaller learning environment, or those who have engaged in student code of conduct infractions to a significant degree that requires short-term removal from the comprehensive setting. A knowledgeable team of educators, including building and district staff and administrators, reviewed and scored the submitted proposals by community vendors. Once again, the successful vendor is Transforming Lives Incorporated, led by Dr. Malik Muhammad. I'm here tonight to ask that you approve our selected provider and community partner to continue to support our students, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Dr. McKinney, do you have a copy of the bid sheets that we can look at?
We
usually get like the cover page of all the bids that were submitted and the amounts and how they were graded.
I do have them. I can get them for you.
So we're voting to approve or not approve this tonight? But have we received these?
It is an action.
But did I miss information about these? Like what the bids were or who the other people were or any kind of information?
You did not miss that.
So what are we basing our vote on?
So in the original proposal, I think you had something in board docs, I believe. And if you did not, that could certainly be something that I missed. But I'm happy to go back and do what you need to do to be able to approve.
So quick question, where I'm happy to have an in-district alternative, so that's a really great idea. Where is that going to be located?
It is going to be at the same location that we have this year. The successful vendor is the same people that we currently have. It's Transforming Lives with Dr. Malik Muhammad. So it's still going to be at the Christiana site that we had this school year.
Okay. So it's not really in district, sorry.
Right.
Okay.
It's the program that's for our district students only, which is why we call it in district.
Okay.
Dr. Jagade, you had a question?
I was just wondering if any of the other board members have found it so that I could look it up.
Trying to look on board docs, see if it was a board update. I haven't found it yet.
Is there data on the success rate is there data on?
Yes, ma'am. I did an extensive evaluation of our in-district alternative ed program, and I'm reviewing those documents, and I'm happy to give those to you in the next board report as well. We did complete that this year as promised. I know we've been promising that for a couple of years. We finally got that completed this year.
I didn't hear the question.
It was a question about the evaluation of the current in-district program. We've been saying for a couple of years that we would get that accomplished. We did do that this year, and I'm happy to present those results to you in a board packet as well prior to this approval. If you would like that, I'm happy to do that as well.
And does that include specific information about the outcomes and performance of the vendor for the current term?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
for me, just speaking for myself, I'd like to see something like that before voting on it. Yeah.
I can do that.
Can I make, do we need a motion to table it?
Quick question. Was the winning bid the low bid or did it meet a rubric based on scoring?
Yes, so we had a rubric based on scoring, but it actually was both. So it met both requirements. We had two vendors, and this vendor that was a successful vendor is our current vendor. But I'm happy to provide you whatever additional information you'd like.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to table until next month to review that information.
Second.
I have a motion on the second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstention? Motion carries. If we put that in board docs, the RFP
Yes,
and the
The evaluation.
submitted bids and the,
along with the evaluation.
great.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Next up, Ms. Flore, monthly financial report and tax warrants for fiscal year 25.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, members of the board. I love being down here and not up there, so I can see all of you. So I have two pieces tonight. One is the monthly financial report for May 31st. Our system is closing down for closeout now, so June is actually not a complete month of activity because we're limited in the time frame that purchase orders and vouchers can be paid. So this is really the last complete month of the fiscal year. Looking at the revenue side, on local funds, we're 100.3% revenues received. Typically, there's a delinquency factor built in the event that there are unpaid taxes or appeals, property appeals that happen during the year. So it's not uncommon for us to go over 100%. We're at 100.3 and we'll tip over. We'll get a little bit more late payments in June. So that'll go up just a little bit. But that's why we tip over 100%, which is good. You certainly don't want to be under. On the state side, 101 of the discretionary state funds, and on the categorical state funds, we're at 97 or 95.7%. In the last two pays of the fiscal year, the state will load only the amount necessary for those last two pays for the state side of salaries. And so the biggest difference there in the 8.9 million anticipated receipts for June, that's that difference, and why we're at 95.7% revenue received and will be over 100% once June finishes with those last two pays. On the expenditure side, the second page is all of the tuition funds, debt service, the other tax funds, and they follow along the same pattern as the local funds because there's 4 tax categories, which I'll actually talk about in the warrant. But tuition, other funds, debt service, those are all tracking at just over 100% as well. I'm on page 3 now, which is the expenditure side. We are 83.69% encumbered and expended for a month ending May 31st. Compare this to, it's slightly down from last year, which was 85.13%, again, with that last fiscal month remaining. Because we do allow buildings to have carry forward balances, meaning they don't have to spend to zero by the end of the fiscal year. We anticipate that there'll be balances there, but 83.69. And again, with the number of purchase orders well into the over 400 in the last month, that number will increase by the time you see the June 30th report. But on track, certainly 83.69% is where we would, slightly less than last year, and where we would expect to be comfortably going into that June 30th ending balance. Similarly for debt service and other funds, those are on track as well. The committee always reviews prior year appropriation expenditures as well as ESSER, of course, because we know that's ending 9/30 with the liquidation of November. We are down to now only 600,000 of ESSER funds remain, and they're all committed because that is the category of learning loss and focus for all of the summer academic programming for students. Targeting reading in particular, as well as math and, kindergarten through fifth grade. The academies or the enrichment ones are for fees, but these ESSER funds will be supporting those programs. And so that will be fully expended by 9/30. The last page is the cash flow. And this is really it's ironic to be good to be a broken record, but you'd like the news to be the same, and the news is the same. The anticipated cash balance of available funds, local funds for June 30th is 6.2 million. That is right on target with all of the referendum modeling and projections and communication that we did going into the vote, and on target with where we anticipated to be. Obviously, the balance, can't read it because it's so small, but we always put it on here, that reserve balance is 3.2 million, and the target, that 8.5 million, is really where we want to be and need to be. And so we're below that, which is why we went to referendum, and we'll anticipate having that higher next year. But we're exactly where we thought we were going to be, and on pace to finish June 30th.
So in the interim, do we see that we'll need to tap into that reserve to close the difference between projected and benchmark? Or when the tax receipts in the fall roll in post-referendum, will that?
It'll come close in September. It all depends on how many early payments we receive. Even though the bills aren't due until September 30th, there are years that we get more in September. And so we'll certainly start the year healthy. It also depends on how much we're able to cash in based on what we're anticipating for units. So we might, and it might be slight, but it would be replenished immediately and not used in the year, because we'll have enough for the year. So really September is going to be that target. And it's why I'll come to you. It's why the state has those 3 reports, 3 per year, but it'll be, what is your projected balance? It's the August 31st financial position. And it's really what is that target going through that first receipt of tax payments. So we might dip in, but it would be slight, and it would be immediately replenished in October.
Thank you.
The other thing is this report was presented to the Finance Committee last Monday, and it was voted and approved by the committee. And happy to say Mr. Hanby is here in the audience from the committee.
With that, is there a motion to accept the May 2024 monthly financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further questions from Ms. Flore? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Tax warrants?
Okay, the next one was also presented to the District Finance Committee last Monday. And this is, believe it or not, this is the recommendation, even though you voted to go to referendum, even though the voters voted for the referendum, now the board has to vote again on the tax warrant to submit to the county with the results of the referendum and that tax increase. But there are 4 categories in our tax warrant. The largest, obviously, is current expense, and that was our February 13th referendum. And so that recommendation is only what the voters approved, and that's 25 cents. On the tuition side, the recommendation is a 3-cent increase. We increased the tuition tax last year as well. This year, the recommendation is based on a number of factors and things that are pressures and moving parts with tuition funded programming. There is anticipated needs-based enrollment. We will have more students at the pre-K level. We know we have an additional ILP classroom as well that's being added, and we will see that reflected in the unit count from the state. In addition, though, tuition funds are the funds that the board has the discretion to set the tax rate for, because they're funds that support students with the highest needs, intense and complex. And those programs and students typically aren't fully funded by the formula, the local formula or the state formula, except they're governed by federal law. And so we don't have a choice of meeting an IEP. And the tuition tax is really that tax that supports the over and above. One thing that's been greatly discussed over really many years, but this year the Department of Education finalized a regulation that now charter schools, we will have to contribute tuition has always been excluded from all of the charter calculations. And this regulation that is now official, it was official at the beginning of June. This regulation will require us to include a charter payment out of tuition funds as well, on top of what we're already doing. And that for us will be 200,000, almost one of those 3 cents that's recommended. The other thing is that when you have most positions in the district have a state component and a local component. And the state has all of the benefits and, the OECs, we call them other employment costs, but whatever those benefits, whatever the pension rate, all of that on the state side is paid by the state. Those are those 2 payments I'm still anticipating for June. But then on the local side, it's, those contracts that we negotiate. But with tuition, these are the only categories where we have 100% tuition funded employees. But that means when there's a 27% increase in state healthcare on the state side, that has to be absorbed by the tuition tax because it's 100% tuition funded employee. So not only do we have an increased growth in the number of units anticipated for next year in terms of the students we're serving, but we also have tremendous pressure on the tuition because it is 100%. Not many positions, but those positions that are 100%, we take on the state side and the local side simultaneously. And so the 3 cent recommendation wraps in those 3 together. However, it's offset by debt service. Debt service, you may not remember, but last year, debt service decreased by 4 cents. This year will decrease by another 3 cents. In some realms, that's good news. In some realms, that's bad news. The facility committee will tell you that's bad news because that means those projects are well over 20 years old when that construction was completed, because the bonds aren't sold right away. And so those are aged projects. And while you'll continue to hear conversation and initiative about what is our next one, we applied last year, we were denied. And certainly we know others are getting in line and where we are. So that'll be a conversation between the board, the facilities committee, and our future and what we submit in August. For this, though, that debt's retiring. And so that 4 cents last year, 3 cents this year. But just to give you kind of that window between 2024 and 2030, the total all debt service reduction is 14 cents. It will almost go to nothing by the time any additional funds would be added. again, that said, that shows you, or that's the signal that we need additional support for our facilities. But at the same time, the debt service, those are the amount of payments that we have to make next year. And it's 3 cents. It's 3 cents lower. So the 3 cent plus is on the tuition side, but it's offset by the 3 cent reduction on the debt service side. So truly the only recommended increase is 25 cents for the tax warrant. The other thing, though, I do want to put out there is on the match tax. We talked at the finance committee. We even talked when we originally had our conversations with the board about going to referendum. There's 4 tax categories: current expense, which is what the voters vote on; debt service, the voters vote on, but they don't vote on the rate. They vote on the value of the project, because you never know what interest rates are going to be. But those 2 are the largest. And then tuition, which we already talked about. And the last category is match. And so we want to, at the committee's direction, we want to really explore what is available for match tax, what Brandywine is using for the match tax, and what are different options and programmings. For example, there's opportunity funds, there's extra time. That's a critical one. You heard me say that ESSER is funding that instructional learning loss over the summer. That would be something that's a potential for the extra time match tax in fiscal year 2026 for the next time we talk about this warrant. So that's conversation and exploration of the different categories. We're going to work through the committee and then bring a recommendation and give kind of comparisons. In the packet I did with the committee as well, I included in there all of the tax categories across all of the districts. And you can see they're very, they vary. You would think that there would be, now current expense is going to vary, right? Because how much the public votes yes or no on amounts, but even how much one district is using tuition versus current expense, how much one district is using match versus tuition varies. And so we thought it was a great conversation to really look at all of those categories. So that's really for a next discussion, but this warrant itself and the vote is a net 25-cent increase for FY25. So a tax rate of 2.7685. On the end, I say FY26 considerations, but going into FY25, I also want to mention that next month I'm coming to speak for the budget. Based on the timing, this is due the second Thursday in July. We don't have another meeting until after that. The July meeting will be the PowerPoint budget presentation that includes a number of factors, including a request for an opportunity fund waiver. But I'll go through all of that what is the state opportunity funds, but what is the overall state budget? It hasn't closed yet. It's always a little bit, you never feel totally official until the budget has passed, and it hasn't passed yet. We haven't actually seen the final copy of it because they've just finished markup. But there's not enhanced minor cap. There's not. There are years where if we voted this early in June, we might have to come back for an emergency meeting to have an increased match tax. For example, if they put a large amount in minor cap that we could match, but those conversations really aren't out there. So it's pretty safe to vote in June. And if not, we would certainly signal there's a need. But I will be back next month with the full budget presentation. But that's why they were broken into 2 parts, this tax warrant, and then next month, the FY25 budget. That includes both the state and then the local side.
Now, how satisfied are we that whatever the charters bill us for is really going to what they're saying it is?
Well, that's an excellent question. And so the regulation is very specific and there is no discretion. The regulation is a formula, and it's a formula based on the district spend. There is some debate about whether or not what is being included is appropriate and how they came to that formula. The chief submitted a letter that, had concerns in it. There's a huge concern, quite frankly, that it's only charter and it's not choice, that the choice bills are now, if we receive a student from another district, a charter is actually receiving more for that same student than we would be a similar student than a choice district. So having it only on the charter side and not the choice side makes little sense. And the department's answer was, well, local boards can take that on through the tuition tax, but those are students from another district. Those aren't students where this is their resident district. So it doesn't make sense. I think there are continued conversations. It was a matter of litigation, and it was unclear. The charter sued, the judges held that the secretary, they basically wanted to compel the secretary to sign the tuition bills. So that's why this regulation took all of that out. And now it's a formula, and it's a formula based on a version of what the districts spend. So I would say, to answer your question, there is no discretion on their side, but we're still having conversations
I
about.
just want to make sure if we're sending them tuition money, they're actually using it for something.
And in the regulation, it says that that's what they're required to do. It can
Well,
only
we've
be
seen
spent on.
charters that have not necessarily done what they're required to do. That they are more the exception than the rule, but we have seen that here in the state. So that's, and I get concerned when we're sending them tuition money.
Mhm.
And we don't really know, so I'll trust that you will figure it out.
And we will continue to have conversations about that regulation.
And just one other note that we did, the Delaware School Board Association did rally along with the chiefs and some other organizations to get epilogue language added so that when we go to our second year after reassessment,
yes,
there's no confusion as to how we're able to apply our tax rate in the second, since we have a staggered.
Correct.
So we did all rally as a group along with the chiefs to make sure that that got into the epilogue.
Which was absolutely great, because one should not be tied to the other, what the voters vote versus what happens after a reassessment. And that's a great point, because that is my last point, is looking at fast forward to FY26. I know with confidence I won't be standing up here in June next year for a tax warrant and a tax rate, because reassessment will be happening. Right. We just had conversations with Kent County, how they're calculating their warrant. It's a whole new assessed tax base. And so who's up, who's down, who's really, the question is, who's going to be an appeal? How much is going to be an appeal? Because we know we're going to lower our tax rate significantly, because if assessed values increase, right, you just have to roll it back. But how are we going to guarantee that we're going to collect what we anticipate we need to collect? And that's all based on delinquencies and appeals. Who is going to be in that process? And so we're working very closely with Newcastle County, who's working with Tyler Industries to map out what is there. There's an informal appeal process, then there's a formal appeal process, and how many will they have worked through by June to know for our warrant. So there will be lots of conversations about reassessment in this coming year as well.
And the committee's recommendation on the tax warrants?
The committee voted unanimously to recommend the tax warrant approval.
Move to approve the tax warrant.
Have a motion. I'm sorry. Is that a second?
Yes, second.
Motion and a second. Any further conversation or questions from Ms. Fleury? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Fleury.
Mr. Stroback, could I make a quick comment before Ms. Fleury leaves the podium? Just want to once again bring to the attention of the board the value of having a very highly respected, involved CFO. Jill came on board, didn't waste any time figuring out the district finances, went right into the throes of planning for a referendum. But to Mr. Ackerman's point, she has been one of the key points of contact around the charter school tuition billing issue, as well as reassessment issue. And again, her work in that role is priceless. So thank you for that commitment and the level of expertise you bring to the position.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Mr. Hall.
General information meeting dates, regular board meeting Monday, July 15th here at Brandywine High School. Our annual board retreat Wednesday, the 7th, to be determined location, and regular board meeting Monday, August 19th here back at Brandywine High School. And I know I do need to get another date out for the group to continue our superintendent performance evaluation. I know we need to try to target something here by the end of the month. So that date will be forthcoming to the board and posted in according to regulations.
Mr. Scrobat, if I could just ask Mr. John Reed, is he still in the back? John, will Brandywine High School be available for the July 15th Board of Ed meeting? Okay, was that a no?
No.
He said no.
Okay.
Would back to Mount Pleasant Elementary be the next best location?
We'll look into that and get it published on the website and in board docs.
But tentatively, we'll replace the July 15th and August 19th regular meetings. Instead of Brandywine, we'll say Mount Pleasant Elementary, but tune into our district website to confirm in the future. So with that, I thank everyone for your time and participation this evening. Congratulations once again to Mr. Holler on an outstanding career and service with Brandywine High School. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. We are adjourned.